Hello and hail Saturn.
Hail Saturn.
Hail Saturn. This is a special chill version of the Snob and the Slobs. I'm unknown comics writer Chris Hurst, joined as always by my fellow slob, comic book illustrator Max Hedshroom.
Hello.
And we are missing our Snob tonight because he is on holiday in Florida with his wife. And so he may pop on later. I sent him the link to StreamYard. So depending on how busy he is stalking Pocahontas around Disney World, we might say, Dave, good to see you in the chat already. So yeah, we're just going to kind of chill out. We have a couple of things that we've kind of sort of pre-planned to talk about, and then we're just going to hang out, and Max is drawing some stuff. And yeah. So one of the things we were talking about before we came on, stopped talking about it because we wanted to share it with everybody, is nostalgia. We watched together about 10 minutes ago. We watched the trailer for Around the World in 80 Days. Hey, Bon Salute. And with David Tennant, it looks like it's a PBS thing in America. It looked like made for TV thing. And Max brought up his thoughts on nostalgia. Now, quickly, I had a bit of a nostalgia moment last night. Hey, Corey. I had a bit of a nostalgia moment last night, Max. I'm in the middle of this catastrophe of my favorite sports team that's been going on for about 4 or 5 days. Von Smoot knows all about it because at work, it's probably all I've talked about for all week.
And so do I now, Von Smoot, because he's just regaled me with a terrible story.
So anyway, I have been glued to local Oklahoma radio. Anybody who doesn't know, I'm originally from the Oklahoma City area. I'm a huge Oklahoma Sooners fan. Anybody who follows college football knows all about what's going on with Oklahoma in the last 4 days. For the first time since 1999, my team is now looking for a coach. And so I've been glued to Twitter and message boards and listening to local Oklahoma sports radio. And I was listening last night, and I started like singing this song that I could hear on the radio. And have you ever like been in the middle of singing a song and you're halfway through the song before you realize what the fuck am I doing? Why do I know the words to this song? And I'm going to play the song for you of what it was, because
the Spice Girls.
I realized what it was like halfway through the song, and I'm singing these lyrics. I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to play it for you, because it was this bizarre nostalgia moment. And here we go.
Jewelry is the gift to give,
'cause it's the gift that live and live.
so give the gift you know can't fail.
From BC Clark's anniversary sale. Most sales are after Christmas, but Clark's is just before.
Most everything is marked way down.
Savings you can't ignore at Oklahoma's oldest jeweler since 1892.
So give the gift you know can't fail.
From BC Clark's anniversary sale.
I've never heard it before, but it's got a decent beat, mate.
Yes, you know why you've never heard it before?
Because it's some American shit that hasn't come over to England.
No, it's not even that. It is specifically an Oklahoma City thing.
Right. Oh, so it's like
that commercial has been playing in Oklahoma City every Christmas since 1956.
Damn.
So anybody who's from Oklahoma City knows every word to that song. And I haven't lived in Oklahoma since the 90s. And I'm sitting here last night in my house and I'm singing jewelry is the and I'm like, what am I singing? And when it got to the part of from Oklahoma's oldest jeweler, and I was like, holy shit, this is the BC Clark song.
Yeah. How old were you when you were there then?
I was 18 when I left.
Yeah, that'll be the right age. You're like right up into your early 20s. You're like a sponge with that sort of shit.
Yeah. But it's just like every Christmas you hear it. It's on every radio station, every TV station. It's everywhere. It's like pounded into your brain as a kid. And so like anybody who's from Oklahoma City will tell you they know the BC Clark song. And they know all the words to it. So anyway, that made me think about nostalgia, because I always get a little bit living in a foreign country. this time of year, I always get a bit nostalgic and a bit homesick, and you know, especially during football season, because it's a big family thing in my family, the Oklahoma football, and then you got the holidays and Thanksgiving and Christmas and all that. So it brings us to our discussion of nostalgia, because that hit me last night of like, oh wow, I can't believe that 1956, mate. They've been playing that same song every Christmas.
In what context do you want to talk about nostalgia, though? Just nostalgia?
No, not just nostalgia. I first of all, I was going to tell that story whether we talked about nostalgia or not, because it was kind of a funny moment for me. But just everything in culture now seems to be driving nostalgia into our eyeballs.
So this is the way I'm looking at it. Take that song that you realized that you were humming, and then you just gave me that nice little chat about where you were all happy and bouncy talking about it, and then make a fucking film about it, 3 films in fact, and the only thing in that film is that song consistently in different ways. In fact, it's not that song, it's a shitty version of that song, sung by someone who's a lot younger, so a brand new star that you're not really into. Let's say, I don't know, Billie Eilish is singing it, and all that does is make you want to hear the.
I don't know who that is.
Exactly.
Does he sing death metal?
That is a she. No,
I know. I'm just kidding.
She doesn't sing death metal.
Did I just assume her gender?
She probably.
Oh, wow.
She whispers songs. Anyway. And that's the sort of nostalgia I'm into. When I was a kid, before social media ruined entertainment for everybody, and the discussion, more importantly, the discussion of entertainment. I mean, I could go off on this one aloud. I have, this includes Chris, by the way. I have ironclad friendships that are built upon the fact that we disagree on certain films, right? And you used to be able to do that until social media.
Yeah, I mean that's and I have no idea. That's a completely different discussion.
Sure.
The inability to, and that's one Justin would love to be here for, because Justin and I have had that discussion about how we've made disagreement into a moral failure.
But
like it's no longer just that we don't have the same opinion. It's that if you don't have the same opinion as me, it's because you're morally bankrupt. It's because you're morally bankrupt, or you want to kill babies or something.
That all swirls in the same toilet, right? Because it's a consistent topic at the moment, isn't it?
So let me ask you this then: is the problem that you have with nostalgia? Or is it with unoriginal and uncreative storytelling?
It's with the abuse of nostalgia.
If the nostalgia was better presented, would you enjoy it? I guess is what I'm
saying. You'd have to define better presented, because
okay. I thought that the way they handled nostalgia in the first series of Stranger Things was really well done. The show was not about the nostalgia, but there were enough of those, like on South Park, they called them member berries. Do you remember that? Yeah. They had enough of the member berries that you were like, oh, especially if you grew up in the 80s. It was like, oh man, I remember that chair. I remember that.
Yeah, I agree. Setting something, because at that point you just.
But it had a great story.
Yeah, it's like setting something in the 18th century, right? It's almost a period. I mean, it is. It sets something in the 80s. It's a period piece, right? The 80s the 80s has a very like a very noticeable aesthetic. Although to anybody that actually grew up in the 80s, a lot of it didn't look like that. They neon up the.
I don't know, man.
Certainly in England, mate. I tell you what, in England, the 80s were drab and smoky. There was smoke everywhere.
I've lived here 12 years now, and I can tell you right now that the 80s in the UK were probably like the 60s in America. You guys, until about 5 years ago, were about 20 years behind America. It's starting to catch back up now.
I agree.
Because the world's getting a lot smaller. But
and I remember feeling that as a kid, like watching when I watched American films like Gremlins and Ghostbusters and all and the Goonies as a kid, I was floored by like I was like, but that's not like life here.
But it was
here.
like, well, I mean, it was obviously a stylized and Hollywooded up version, but I mean, that really
You
was
had, like,
kind of
proms and
yeah, that was all legit.
yeah, we never had any of that shit. Of course, they have
Yeah,
them
yeah.
now. They talk about them like it's a. Anyway, back to nostalgia. So it's the abuse and nostalgia that I have.
Okay.
That I have this shit, and I agree on your point that I think Stranger Things did it right because it was the backdrop was the nostalgia, but the forefront was a brand new story.
It was the elevator pitch is Goonies meets Poltergeist, right?
Yeah.
And it was brilliant, but the core of that, and it's probably been a common theme of hundreds. Hey, what's up, Aria? Hundreds of our discussions between you and me privately and over drinks and other things. It all comes down to the story.
Absolutely.
If the story is well done, you can get away with so much. And Aria is asking you what the painting in the background is.
It's of me. It's a uni project, mate.
It's a self-portrait. He's got the Peter.
When I take my shirt off, a big church.
He's got the Peterborough. He's got the Peterborough Cathedral held in his.
I'm actually practicing.
Shirt.
I've never used oils before, so I've just started using oils. And fuck me, I didn't realize how manipulative they are. Like you can paint it on, come back the next day, and move all the colors around. Like it's so much easier than acrylic, and I've never ever tried it. Oh, fuck it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, cheers, man. I'm doing a bit of a renaissance thing.
It does. Yeah, looks really good.
So yeah, I suppose the main issue then is that Hollywood takes nostalgia and then they use it as a substitute for story and repackaging. I feel like the last 10 years, and I'm really getting, some of it has got to be the fact that I'm getting more cynical as I get older. And I think that happens to all of us, but I just don't remember a time of, it sort of churning out, feeling like I'm eating all this media up and it's all tasting so similar,
Yeah.
And that's the selling point as well. Do you remember that chocolate bar that you had in the 80s? Yeah. Do you remember that thing that you watched in the 80s? Yeah. Do you remember the arcade machines? And I'm just fucking done with it. So the good thing the 80s had going about it was that they were trying loads of new shit. Now you can talk.
No, sorry. I was reading. Corey had a question for you, an art question that I cannot answer.
You can also use a kneaded eraser to make correct. I did not know that, Corey. Thank you.
Oh, it was not a question. Sorry, I read that wrong. It was a statement.
It was advice. Corey. Cheers, man. Yeah, I know nothing about oils. I'm an acrylics guy. I mean, I barely know anything about acrylics. I just splash it on, but that's good to know. A kneaded eraser. Is that like the squidgy, stretchy thing? Help me out, Corey. You're now my oils man.
Sorry, I am. I'm going to be dipping in and out and checking the Twitters while I am on Oklahoma Coach Watch as well. So I might, if I dip out for 2 seconds, that's what I'm doing.
No worries, man. I know it's on your mind.
It's been driving me crazy for several days. You have no idea. So I have two theories about why we're seeing so much nostalgia. One of them is, I think, more cynical than the other. The first, and I think more cynical theory is because it's lowest common denominator, and it's trying to appeal to as mass and as global an audience as possible, and because everybody recognizes Transformers or Goonies, or you know what I mean, like everybody around the world recognizes these big properties that we can, Ghostbusters or whatever, that it's almost like a universal language, and it makes it easier to make appealing movies to a mass audience. That's the more cynical.
Yeah, it's all a bid for minimal risk, right? Sell the media. Yeah.
A less cynical and maybe even more loving theory is because Gen Xers are the ones making all the decisions. And Gen Xers were the first, I can say we, because I am firmly a Gen X.
What's a Gen Xer? What year do you have to have been born? I was 81.
Okay, here's the dirty little secret about generations. They're all made up bullshit. And
yeah, I kind of thought.
So you can shift the years in different direct, a year here, a year there, depending on who you're talking to. Typically, I think about 1961 to 1981 is Gen X, and then
right on the cusp then.
Yeah, I think if anybody's born in like 80, 81, they're kind of, maybe even 82, they're sort of late Gen X, early millennial.
My brother and sister are like a fair bit older than me as well. So I imbibed all their hand-me-down.
Yeah, I think your brother's about my age, isn't he?
He's older than you.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah, he's 10 years older than me.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
So I just had all the shit that they had. I had.
So they're definitely Gen X.
Yeah.
And Gen X were the first generation to be marketed to.
Oh, really?
Yes. This isn't bullshit. This is like sociologists and like media studies people will tell you. The first generation to be marketed directly at were Gen Xers, because we were home and watching TV. And so that's why you get things like He-Man and Ninja Turtles and G.I. Joe and all those things in the 80s that were essentially 30-minute toy commercials. That's why you get all of the massive toy commercials during Saturday morning cartoons. And so the first generation that was specifically targeted by marketing was Gen X. And everything in that marketing was geared specifically to us. And so we soaked it all up like sponges and fell in love with all of it. And it became our culture, and it became part of who we were and who we are.
Isn't it weird that
now we're the ones making the decisions about what movies and TV shows get made. And so we're dipping into that well of what we loved as kids. And so that's why I say it's less cynical and it's a little bit more loving. It's not just that cynical lowest common denominator. It's also people who loved this stuff that want to keep making it.
I agree, but Aria says, doesn't Disney define a generation as every 7 years, or is it every 17 years?
Yeah, I have no idea what evil corporations.
From a media point of view, it would be 7 years, right?
Sure.
I feel like that would be right,
but that would be corporate nonsense and bullshit.
I mean, just like you get a kid watching Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you're gonna revamp Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles within a 7-year period.
Sure. And I think you're seeing those things, like those generational changes and stuff, get as technology speeds up. Yeah. And culture changes really fast. Typically, a generation has been 20 years, roughly, give or take. But like I said, as you see technology accelerating and changes in culture and society changing so fast, I think what you would define as a generation is probably getting smaller and smaller all the time. And we're pretty soon we're going to just be like wines, like, oh, you're at 2025.
Dave says yes, more in common with older generations, but he's technically a millennial. Well, Chris just said that the barriers of those generations are mainly bullshit. And
they're complete bullshit.
Yeah. And I honestly, Dave, I would. It does have some effect on depending on what you define each generation by. Like when you're born, obviously has some effect on it, but like it also depends on what part of the country you're in, who you hang around with. What your siblings were like, what your family's like. There's all sorts of variables that go into it.
It's a lot about shared experiences. Yeah. And so, for example, Gen Xers, the early Gen Xers were kids were probably 8 years old or so during the moon landing.
Yeah.
Later Gen Xers saw the Berlin Wall fall. We were I was probably 15, 16 when the Berlin...
I remember watching it and not remotely understanding what was going on.
Yeah, but we were old enough, like at 15, I was old enough to know what was going on. We had learned about the Cold War and the Berlin Wall and all that stuff in school, and now
Dad was trying to explain it, and I just saw David Hasselhoff
Yeah.
That's
So there's that idea of like, obviously the greatest generation, they all fought in World War II. The lost generation all fought in World War I. And so they had those shared experiences that kind of shaped who they were as people. I think most Gen Xers, for us, what shaped us as people were things that kind of started with Woodstock and, well, maybe before that with like, I'm not old enough to remember any of this, by the way. I was born after all of this, but you had the stuff in '68 with Martin Luther King and Robert Kennedy and the riots at the Democrat National Convention. And then you go into '69 with Woodstock and the Manson murders. And that kind of begins the experience, the shared experience for Gen Xers. And then it ends with when we were kind of becoming adults, it ends with the Berlin Wall and Kurt Cobain blowing his brains out and things like that. And that kind of bookends that 20-year period a bit. I know that's a little bit more than 20 years, but but those are shared experiences that like all of the culture that happened in between there, especially in America. Especially in America.
It was almost all America, but you know the references, right?
Right. And a lot of those things, because we were like, I mean, the first, like Dennis Leary used to have a joke about why do baby boomers just sit around and watch TV all the time?
Yeah.
Right. And he said it's because one Sunday in 1963, we turned on the TV and watched a guy get shot.
Yeah.
And that was when Oswald got shot on national television.
Yeah.
After the assassination of Kennedy. Those are the kind of shared experiences that get impressed into an entire generation. And I think to me, that's what generations are. And it's not necessarily defined by dates. It's defined by those experiences and those shared cultural touchstones.
The equivalent of that for the millennials was the towers.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Which also a lot of Gen Xers, obviously, that impacted us as well. I mean, that was an interesting day for me. I was in the military when that happened. And
oh, really?
I was on the phone with my mom after the first. I got woken up because I had been working a night shift. And I got woken up to, hey, a plane has crashed into the World Trade Center. Okay, what? And I'm thinking, small Cessna or whatever.
Yeah. And
I come downstairs, and it's just like the happy stream now, right, of Chris's experience on 9/11. So my mom calls me and is like, by the time I'd gotten to the TV, both towers had already been hit. And I'm talking to my mom on the phone, and she's freaking out, thinking, "Are you going to have to go to war? Are you going to have to go to war?" And I'm like, "Look, we don't even know what happened, right?"
Yeah, yeah.
And as soon as the first tower fell, I'm sitting on the phone like this, and I just said, "All right, I got to go." And I hung up, and I went and packed my bag.
Yeah.
Because as soon as that tower fell, I knew, like,
yeah, it's time.
Yeah, we're going. And so
I
went many times.
I was in Carlisle nursing a hangover.
I've been to Carlisle.
Yeah, my girlfriend at the time woke me up and told me to watch the TV. And just as I switched it on, the second plane went.
Yeah, because that would have been afternoon here, wouldn't it? It's like 8 o'clock in the morning.
It quite possibly, because I was
like 8 or 9
still in bed, and it was the morning after, like, so.
Yeah, I remember it was a Tuesday.
Well, I would have been 21.
Yeah, that seems right.
21, 22, something like that.
Yeah, that seems right.
So yeah, so I've watched a few movies recently that just smack of that nostalgia, right?
Arya, you can go to hell.
You were 3.
3 years old.
Wow. Little Arya with really long hair and a little beard.
Yeah, he was probably born that way.
Yeah, playing with these coloured bricks that are all black.
Oh man, I dig the aesthetic.
Yeah, you pull it off.
Yeah, exactly. I've not been able to go get my hair cut. Check this out.
Yeah, I'm having the same problem.
I've been dealing with, as you know, we had to cancel the stream last week because I've had a house full of sick people, of ill, poorly people for 2 weeks, and haven't had a chance to go get a haircut. So
Yeah, man, you had a bit of a ball like, didn't you?
yeah. Oh wow, Bristolian Dave.
Was born on.
He was 8, turning 9 on 9/11.
Did you
That
go?
is
Oh
crazy.
shit, me babbers!
Curtains are fashionable now. Yeah, my wife doesn't like long hair. If I could, I'd grow my hair out like Ari is,
I think you should.
but I don't think my wife would like that.
Just do it anyway.
Yeah.
My wife didn't like that I was going bald. I still did it.
Yeah, there's nothing you could do about that.
Well, there is. I could have got. All right, there isn't.
I mean, you could wear
I
a
don't know.
wig.
Yeah, you can get like implants and stuff. I feel like, and you can get them.
Do those
glue-on
actually
ones
work?
now. Yeah, yeah. I know someone that's got them, and I didn't know that they had them until somebody else told me. And I was like, no, why? They're like, they just take follicles from the back of your head. And in all honesty, my hair in the first place looked like shit, so I didn't really care when I went bald. I used to shave.
I've seen some pictures of you with hair, and it is like
It's dog shit in it.
it's not dog shit. It's just the weirdest damn thing. When somebody that you know and that you're good friends with,
I know.
the entire time you've known them, they've been bald.
Yeah.
And then when you see pictures of them when they were younger and had hair, it's like seeing your teacher outside of school.
Yeah, it's bizarre, isn't it? I remember
like,
doing it when I was.
This isn't right.
Yeah, when I was younger, I used to see my mates that were bald with hair. It used to make me piss myself.
Yeah.
And now I am that man. Fuck it.
Yeah, it's really bizarre.
You got to do the best you can with what you got, lads.
Yeah.
I ain't got much.
It comes for all of us. So you said you've seen some movies lately that are playing with the nostalgia.
I mean, so we're going to talk about this anyway, weren't we? The Spider-Man.
Yeah.
trailer.
Yeah. We'll get into it. Yeah.
I mean, when this film is a big hit, and it will be, whether it's good or not. Where do you think they're going to go after they've done all the multiple Spider-Verses and the multiple Batman and all that shit?
I don't think that the Spider-Man universe is what they're concerned with.
You know?
No, I think obviously we'll have to wait till we see the movie.
For sure. Well, just tell me what you're feeling about it.
It seemed to me like it's a Doctor Strange 1.5.
Oh, really?
So everything in this phase of the Marvel stuff is the MCU is building towards Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
But why?
And so I think that all of this stuff with the different Spider-Mans is more about establishing the multiverse and the rules for the multiverse and the threat and the danger and all that stuff for the next movie. It's building towards Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness.
I think bigger reasons.
Okay.
I think then when they've set up the multiverse and they've brought people in, then they're open to do any deal they want with any production company they want to bring any character in, right? So obviously they're bringing Maguire and who was the other one in? Who was the other Spider-Man?
Well, Andrew Garfield
has
claimed that he's not coming, that he's not in it.
They're in it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they are, but they're claiming that they're not. I don't know about Tobey Maguire, but Andrew Garfield says he's not in it.
I don't give a fuck. They're in that film, right? I'll be dead surprised if they're not, right? But like, I'm 95% sure that they're in it.
I do not ever need to see Tobey Maguire.
Did
you think there was more? Did you think there was more to that sentence?
Yeah, I don't either, mate.
I don't ever need to see him again.
He is Gollum. They can bring anybody in from the Sony verse now if they want to, including Venom. And I think this whole Marvel DC thing will its last death cry will be the DC Marvel crossover.
You think?
Oh yeah. There was a time, mate, when nobody and I remember reading the Infinity Gauntlet. Anybody had asked me if that was going to be a film, you would be like, "What? No fucking chance." And then there was a time where never would Spider-Man come into the Marvel universe or the X-Men, like they were all owned by different people. And now that the playing field has been changed so much, like the precedent has been set where you can bring any character in if you want them to be in it. Venom isn't even a Marvel fucking character technically. He's a Sony's character, but he's managed to whittle his way into the Spider-Verse because what's his name? The guy that plays him, Spider-Man.
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland's in the second.
Yeah, but that's because Sony and Disney both own the film. They share the film rights.
Sony owns it, and
then
they rent it to Disney.
They lease it back to.
But
they did that as a weird deal because of all the money they lost off the interview and the whole Sony hack and all that stuff. They needed money really bad.
Oh yeah, I know why they did it.
Spider-Man was the one thing they had.
I know why they did it, but the longer Spider-Man stays in the Marvel universe and makes money and gets more cemented in that universe, the more fingers of the more Sony fingers go into the Disney pie.
Excuse me.
And deals will be made. He's already signed up for 3 more movies.
So here's what I think. This could get into a really big discussion. To your Marvel and DC thing, there is a difference between the Sony deal with obviously all the Fox stuff is with Disney now.
Yeah.
All of the X-Men and I mean Daredevil had reverted already.
Yeah.
But all of the things, X-Men, Deadpool, all of that stuff that was Fox, Fantastic Four. That's obviously
the Hulk, though, isn't there? The Hulk can't have his own movie.
I don't know if he can't have his own movie. It's they've sucked. His own movies have sucked.
The last one done under Marvel was all right. Like it wasn't the worst one. But it wasn't the worst one. But
the one with Eric Bana was horrible.
Yeah, that was. Well, I like that, but for different reasons because it's just crazy. But
it would be a good one for us to do on the show.
Yeah. But there's another reason. There's another rights reason, and I can never remember why, but there's definitely one or at least there was. Maybe it's not the case anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. The only stuff that's not currently owned by Marvel, film rights wise, is, as far as I know, it's the Spider-Man stuff and Venom and that. Yeah. Everything else is back to Marvel and Disney.
So tell me this then: Do you think Venom will come into the Marvelverse?
I don't. One, I don't think he needs to. There's no need for it. At most, they might do. He might be in a Spider-Man movie.
That's what I'm thinking.
But I can't see Venom being in an Avengers movie or anything.
No. But if he's in a Spider-Man movie and there's like a giant visceral reaction to it, they'll put him in everything. But
maybe
if it's like Luke Warren, they'll put him in fuck all.
That's the shit that I hate. Is all of this. Like you can, I don't mind nostalgia, but
exactly, this is my point.
I don't. Some of this stuff, I don't know. I've never gotten Venom. I mean, I always, obviously, as a metalhead, I always love the aesthetic, but
I like Venom. I like the original version of it.
Yeah, I just don't get the. I mean, I don't have anything against Venom. I mean, first of all, I'm not a huge Marvel guy anyway, but I've just never gotten it. I've never understood why everybody just creams themselves over Venom.
Because
I mean, at least Wolverine I can kind of get because he's the badass kind of thing, But I don't know, Venom. He's not even a very popular comic book character.
No, I agree, but he works best when he's with Spider-Man. He only works when he's with Spider-Man, really.
Yeah,
because he's the dark personification of Spider-Man made into this H.R. Geiger looking cool monster, and that's why people like him. He's a bit like a cross between Spawn and Pitt. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. To me, I think he's another
aesthetic.
character. He's another character that people just miss the point of.
Well, the film definitely missed the point of him.
No, I just mean people generally. Like the whole reason, like he's a villain.
Yeah, he is a villain. His name, right? I was having a conversation. I was having a conversation.
Why are
Like,
people? Why are people rooting for this guy? He's the villain.
The film doesn't work. Like he doesn't. Everything about Venom, like the reason why he looks like he does. I hate funny Venom and brain eating Venom. Just really big, yeah. But like, you take him down to the just the core design points, right? In that last film. Well, they removed the spider off his chest, so he can't. So he's now exists outside the Spider-Man. But that's not true because he's got he's got Spider-Man's head with he's just got a mouth.
Yeah.
The whole like the Venom substance was like a symbiotic, malleable thing. It becomes what it attaches itself to, and it became the spider suit. And then when it left Spider-Man and went on to Eddie Brock, who hated Peter Parker, together they became Venom. Venom, right. As in they had Venom for Spider-Man. They both hate Spider-Man and Peter Parker. He looks like the hate version of Spider-Man. It doesn't. The whole thing is just neutered when you remove Spider-Man. It's like when they do a film with like a hero and a side character, then they do the spin-off of the side character, and it never fucking works because you have to have them bouncing from each other. They only work with the main character in it. And Venom's a really, really good villain, but he has to be a villain.
And there's also sometimes in those situations where a certain character in a film is good in small doses, right?
Yeah.
So like, I'm a dad, so I'll go to animated stuff a lot, but Mater in Cars was really funny, but he was really funny as the comic relief. When you make him the main character in Cars 2, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Or the penguins in Madagascar. They're hilarious and they're really funny and they're really entertaining as, smile and wave, boys, smile and wave. That whole, like these maniacal penguins, but they're on screen for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And when you try to spin them off and make a movie of its own, I mean, it was entertaining. It was okay. It wasn't horrible, but
there's not enough there.
It's not enough there. It doesn't work as well as the TV series that they did, where it's basically Hogan's Heroes with penguins. That was pretty funny, but yeah, you see that a lot where they try to. It's that there's like, imagine if they tried to make a sequel to Old School that was all about Frank the Tank.
Yeah.
First of all, it means you'd have to let Will Ferrell make another fucking movie, and nobody needs that. And second of all, he's a third-tier character in that movie. He's funny because he only carries like 1 or 2 scenes on his own.
Right. And Venom seems like threatening because in the book,
because he's a threat to Spider-Man.
Books, he's like, but he's like, he stalks him because obviously he knows who he really is. He like stalks Aunt May, and he's really intimidating, and he's not
detached from that story. He's kind of pointless. He's very limited.
Yeah. He's not like the Goblin that's like a bit hokey. He's like this very fucking real massive guy that can every time Spider-Man faces him, he gets the shit beaten out of him.
Yeah. And Arya's right. Sabretooth doesn't work without Wolverine.
Yeah. He's the Saber. That's a good call, Arya.
Bizarro doesn't work. And that's the thing with a lot of these comic book characters, especially the villains. They were created specifically to be sort of the foil for one specific character. It's one of the reasons I'm not a big fan of one, I'm not a big fan of continuity. 2, I'm not a big fan of shared universes. I don't need to see when Lex Luthor and Batman go up against each other because I don't care. Mm-hmm. Lex Luthor is Superman's villain. The Joker is Batman's villain.
Yeah.
I don't need to see crossovers of these things because those villains
don't necessarily work, right?
They're designed to be specific foils for that specific character, and it just the interplay between other characters doesn't work as well.
For sure.
But back to Marvel and DC crossover.
Yeah.
I think it's one thing for Sony to lease back the rights to Spider-Man and the Spider-Verse because they need money.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see a scenario where AT&T and Disney join forces because they don't need to.
The day it happens, bro. We're gonna do this show, and I'm gonna go, I told you.
I think if this was purely, I mean, this is an obvious statement because it's been done before. If this was purely up to Marvel and DC, it would probably happen because it's happened in comics several times.
Yeah, I know it's happened in the comics. Yeah.
I think getting two corporations that are making shit tons of money competing against each other to set aside that competition and work together. But
aren't Sony and Marvel, Sony and Disney?
But that's because Sony came to them with their hat in their hand and they needed the money. And now that relationship is established, because AT&T, I don't see AT&T coming to Disney needing money.
Okay.
Let's put it this way. I think Sony's about to get sold.
To who?
I don't know.
Oh, imagine if it was AT&T.
No. So here's the thing.
Yeah.
It's all about streaming services, right?
Uh-huh.
Every major entertainment company has a streaming service of their own, except Sony.
Right.
Netflix needs content. They need IP because all of the IP farms now have their own streaming service. They can no longer license Disney. They can no longer license Warner Brothers. They can no longer license Paramount or Universal because all of them have their own streamers.
Okay.
So my prediction is at some point, either Sony is going to buy Netflix or Netflix is going to buy Sony Entertainment, that they're going to chop off the Sony Entertainment side, the film and television side of things.
What do you think is more likely? And
keep the electronics manufacturing stuff, as Sony, and then Netflix will buy the Sony Entertainment. What do I think is more likely? I don't know, because I don't know how. I'm not savvy enough on the investing stuff to know how much cash or how much credit leverage Netflix has.
Aren't they doing, extremely well at the moment?
Yes, but nobody quite knows why or how.
I tend to think that they do quantity over quality, right? So for like every decent hit, you get 10 pieces.
Yeah, they're a number. They're playing the numbers game. They'll throw 10 things out, and one of them will hit.
And they've got the perfect platform to do it, so everybody watches Netflix.
Yeah, they do, and they can do things fairly cheap. I mean, I can't imagine Squid Game costing them that much money. No. Did you watch Squid Game?
Yeah, I liked it. It was all right.
I thought the ending was a bit shit.
I thought the ending was a bit shit too. Yeah. Was it the dyed hair?
No, because I used to live in Korea, and that's actually fairly common.
That pissed me off, that bit, but somebody filled me in on why they did that, and I was like, oh, okay.
Why? What did they say?
Well, he's an alcoholic, isn't he? He's an addict, and apparently, it was to show that like addicts tend to make really sort of on the spot decisions about those sorts of things. So it was showing you that that's what they do. They do.
He's still impulsive.
So he's still impulsive.
Yeah, interesting. I just looked at it as, I mean, that's a fairly common hairstyle in Korea.
Yeah, maybe. It's crazy to me. I was like, what the fuck?
Dude's a millionaire now. It's funny because every time they would say an amount of money in won, my wife would look at me and want me to like translate it into how many dollars or pounds it was.
Did you? Why didn't you like the ending? Was it because he pissed off and left his daughter again? Sorry, spoiler if you're watching this.
Yeah, so spoilers for Squid Game if you're watching.
For everything, I'm going to ruin everything.
Yeah, so. we don't give a shit. Yeah. I don't know. There was just something about that didn't sit well with me, and it
wasn't very satisfying, was it?
No, it was. Yeah. I don't know if it was that he. I don't know. to me, it looked like they're setting up for a series 2,
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
which I didn't like. I thought just end it.
Yeah.
And
Should've been done there.
I think the fact that he's trying to, he wants this, it's almost like this hero thing where he wants to uncover and figure out all this stuff. Like, you've been a pansy bitch this whole show.
Yeah.
You know, like, I like the twist with the old man. I didn't think they did enough with it, but I liked it.
That was kind of weird, wasn't it? That he was just like.
But here's how I console myself.
Yeah.
It's an Eastern storytelling style rather than a Western storytelling style. It's a different way of telling the story, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be the punchy kind of Michael Bay ending. You know, it needs It in Korea, it was wildly successful and wildly popular. I can tell you that the main guy who plays Ji-hoon and the girl who got stabbed with the glass and dies, she's the North Korean defector. They're both hugely famous in Korea. They're like massive stars in Korea.
Okay.
And so, yeah, so it was
well received, for sure.
Yeah. We have a special guest.
What up?
Snob.
Freaking, what the hell are you two up to?
He doesn't look very snobby at the moment, does he?
We're just talking about we're having a conversation about nostalgia and some of the new movies that are coming out, and we were just talking about Squid Game.
Yeah.
Oh, fun! I haven't watched it yet, but I mean, I can say, Mr. Not Disney World today, so.
Yeah, your connection in Florida is horrible because you keep breaking up a little bit.
Yeah, well, what are you gonna do?
He's so laid back now. He's like,
he's having a good time.
What are you gonna do? Well, it's really cold and rainy here in England.
Yeah,
it's terrible here. Let me tell you, it's 80 degrees and blue skies.
Standing in front of a palm
You guys
tree.
are at Animal Kingdom today, right?
Yeah.
Have you
we
been?
Had to take a break because we were way.
Just about to ask that, Chris.
Have you been drinking today?
No.
I know. Yeah. See, look at this. Even Von Smoot, who barely knows you, has recognized. Trust me. I know. Happy, glowing Justin. Here we go. Aria says we should change the name of the show to Florida Man Talks Movies.
There we go. Oh, Jesus.
Well, I hope you guys are having fun.
Yeah, man.
Oh, we're having a ball.
Good.
You guys sticking around pretty all right?
Yeah, we're doing good. When is the Epcot drinking around the world, and are you filming it for the channel?
I don't know if we're doing Drink Around the World, but that's going to be tomorrow. No, Friday, right? Epcot.
Yeah, I think you should try Drinks Around the World and film it for the show.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh Jesus! I'll send Max a bunch of unedited raw footage so he can piece that shit show together.
Yeah, I'll do it. No worries, mate. I look forward to it.
He would. I'm sure he would make you look great as well.
Oh, I'm sure he would. Don't worry. I'm also doing enough research for the channel with my top freaking Disney ripoffs from Disney.
Oh yeah, have you filmed that?
That's not yet. That's suffering though. I'll tell you that right now. I have to sit through one terrible Brazilian freaking 1990s era computer animation. Shoot myself.
Yeah, we do need to see Drinks Around the World, don't we, Kay?
Yes, definitely need to see.
Gurkha. just one long Gurkha.
Bristolian Dave says you need to go on a ride while you're on the stream.
No, that's okay. There's only a day. That's how you lose a phone. That's how you lose a phone.
Yeah. Edward 40 hands that motherfucker to your hand, and he dropped off.
Oh, he's gone.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, he's
back.
I lost you.
There he
we
is.
go.
We lost you there for a second.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's that's just oof. Yeah, that's what we're doing. Yeah, I'll shoot photos over to you guys, and you guys can do whatever the hell you want with them. I'm sure it'll make it look great.
Nice
Yeah,
one, buddy.
it'll be good.
Good to see you, Justin.
Awesome. Good to see you,
Have a good
Justin.
time, mate. He's frozen.
He's frozen.
Like he's having a fucking great time.
Yeah. Sounds like he's about half cocked.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like what time is it there now? It's about 3:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah, he's doing well then.
So, he seems to be back. Is he back? He's not back. His
connection was shit anyway.
His connection's terrible.
I don't think I've ever seen him so laid back.
Yeah, he's back again.
Trust me, I've been dealing with Wi-Fi issues this entire trip. All right. Well, Mrs. says hi to everybody out there.
Hi.
Hey!
Hello, Emma.
All right, guys. Well, we're about to head back in. I'll catch you guys on the stream next. Catch you guys next week.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Have a good time, mate. Enjoy your time, man. I'll see you soon.
Yeah, we will. All right, hey guys.
All right.
Hey, thanks everyone for joining. Hey, take care. Bye.
Hey, oh, that's too funny.
That is probably funny.
Yeah. So anyway, where were we?
So anyway, I don't know. We were talking some shit about Marvel movies, and you were telling me why my predictions are dog shit.
No, I don't think your predictions are dog shit. I just think it's very unlikely for those two mega corporations to. It would be like Coke and Pepsi deciding to get together to make a new soda.
Yeah, but no one wants that. I want to see.
Does anybody want to see Marvel and DC?
Yeah, you know. Yes, you know that they do.
I think.
People go and see the Transformers movies.
Well, wait a minute now. Do we need to have the Michael Bay discussion?
Sure.
I think Michael Bay is the greatest filmmaker of our generation.
Is that a lie?
No. But do you want to know why I think he is? It's because he knows exactly what he is. He knows exactly the movies that he's making, and he doesn't try to church it up. He doesn't try to make it, hey, look, I'm not making high art. I got tits and robots.
Yeah, but
and he sticks to what
he's shit though, aren't they?
I mean, I haven't seen every Michael Bay movie, but The Rock was amazing.
Transformers.
The Rock was awesome. The first Transformers was pretty good.
What about the preceding 5?
I haven't seen all of them.
They're shit, mate.
But look, Michael Bay just he knows who he is. He knows what he's
what
doing.
I'm saying is,
he's not Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder does a very similar thing. Does a very similar thing to Michael Bay.
Zack Snyder conversation. Look, this is what I'm saying. Why haven't you seen the following 5?
Listen, I haven't seen a lot. I haven't seen a lot of movies. Listen, Marvel.
Out of all the movies you have watched, why haven't, after watching the first Transformers film, why haven't you gone and watched the rest of them?
Doctor Strange is my favorite Marvel character, and I still haven't seen that movie.
Shit, but loads of people go and see them, and they're the same people that are going to go and see Marvel. Fucking Spider-Man and Batman have a punch-up. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I don't know. The problem I have as a comics fan is that people already think that when there's a new Batman, or like when Justice League came out, you hear people saying, "Oh yeah, it's the new Marvel movie," and you want to choke them.
Yeah, but it's not going to be for not us as comic fans. It's going to.
I know nothing is made for us.
Nah, it's going to be the people that sat down and watched and only heard about Thor and Hulk and stuff through the movies. Yeah. It'll be them. It's the normies. I just think the corporate side of it keeps it from happening. We'll see.
just think
I'm always
does.
right.
I think it's going to be a fucking train wreck if it does happen.
Yeah, it will be. It'll be dog shit.
It will be.
But there has to be some form of implosion with all this, and I tend to think that's.
So then, why haven't we seen a Fast and the Furious crossover with Transformers? Because that would be amazing. Like Vin Diesel's driving along in one of the cars, and suddenly it turns into a giant robot.
Well,
like,
weren't they going to do that?
That movie writes itself.
Weren't they going to do that, or was it G.I. Joe they were going to cross with?
I have no idea.
Yeah, they were going to do it
with Fast and the Furious or with Transformers.
Yeah. I think Fast and the Furious was going to do it with G.I. Joe, and
that's just fucking stupid.
I know, and now I think G.I. Joe and Transformers are doing it instead.
That makes more sense because they've actually done it in the comics, and it was pretty well done.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually source material for that.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. It is all about money. It is all about money. I just don't see it. I don't see how it works. I don't see how
not all of
corporate
us
side of it works.
Not all of us, Chris, can be visionaries like me.
Oh, that's.
I just know that people make dog shit decisions. They do, and especially when money's involved, they're like, yeah. You know the way I'm pushing this argument to you, and I don't even want it to happen. Imagine the people that do want it to happen, that have got millions. They'll make it happen.
They'll make this shit happen. Well, it's not. I mean, I'm surprised. As much cocaine as there was in the '80s, I'm surprised some more wild shit didn't get made.
In it, I mean, some pretty crazy shit did get made, but
that's true.
Yeah, you are right.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Well, yeah, man. Anyway, incidentally, I'll go watch that Spider-Man film. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, it looked pretty good. I mean, I've fallen so far behind on movies, watching new stuff that.
Oh, that was the one I wanted to show you.
Like I said, I haven't even seen Doctor Strange, and I love Doctor Strange, and I just haven't seen the movie.
I think you'll like it.
I'm sure I will. I own it. I have no reason that I haven't sat down and watched it. Look, I am so busy with other stuff.
It's formulaic, but it's
sure, but that's fine. Ant-Man was formulaic, but it was fun. Most of the Marvel movies are formulaic, but they're pretty well executed and they're fun. I don't mind formulaic. I don't mind simple. I don't mind basic storytelling. What I don't like is when somebody tries to outsmart the audience or tries to do something that's artistic and progressive and all of these things, and they fail miserably. I may, like Rian Johnson, we've talked about it before with The Last Jedi.
That could be our next topic, can't it?
I have some ideas about when we go to pre-recorded about doing some series and stuff, and I think a Star Wars series would be really good. But The Last Jedi, I can recognize what Rian Johnson was trying to do, and I can even respect the attempt. But you have to acknowledge that he missed miserably.
Yeah, he did.
And that is what irritates me more.
It was like a perfect storm of a few things with Rian Johnson. I think he missed with what he was attempting to do, and that's one thing. And I think, but which I wouldn't have necessarily minded. And I think that coupled with, although I mean it's a difficult one to call because he was a bit flippant about the reaction to it. But then, if you're a director online and you're getting shit for the movie that you made, maybe you are going to tell people to fuck off. So I don't know. It all just left kind of a bad taste in the mouth. I wanted to like it, and then I had to watch it twice, as I often have to do with Star Wars films before I decide.
Yeah, I remember after you saw it initially.
I was defending
I was in Paris. A little inside baseball on the Snob and the Slobs. I was in Paris, and I actually went and saw it in with French subtitles, and then Max and I started talking about it afterwards. I was in my hotel, and you loved it, and I was kind of like, it took a couple of viewings and analyzing it to realize where all the problems were. But I could tell from the very beginning that I didn't love it.
Yeah.
And it was it took a couple of viewings to figure out why I didn't like it, but just there was something about it, even the first viewing, that I was just like, it just doesn't sit right. It's like a pair of shoes that doesn't quite feel right.
And I think this is why I have the issue with like a sort of a deep-seated issue with nostalgia, because it's become apparent to me over the years that I can't be trusted with Star Wars films, right?
Yeah, I'm the same.
And I should have known from when Phantom Menace came out. When did Phantom Menace come out? 98,
99, I think.
99. And I fucking loved that film when I came out. And I remember I only watched it once on the cinema. And you're right there, mate.
Just dropped my wedding ring on the floor.
Oh, I thought your cock ring had fallen off.
No. Oh, there it is.
Are you losing weight rapidly?
No.
Why did your ring fall off then?
Because I was playing with it. I'm a terrible fidgeter. So
Fair dues.
this is not even my original wedding ring. I lost my original wedding ring.
Oh, really?
On my wedding night.
What? Do you know what I was about to do? I was about to say, where?
In the ocean.
All right.
I was in Jamaica. I got married in Jamaica.
You can't really look there, can you?
I was drunk, and my ring was probably a size and a half too big, and I was drunk out in the ocean swimming and was doing some dumb shit with my hands, and the ring just went whoop.
Shit. Well, at least it was
Lost
early,
it.
so you hadn't got.
This is the exact same ring. It's just not. Anyway, sorry. Nostalgia. Phantom Menace.
Oh yeah. I came out of Phantom Menace loving it. It was because I was a young
I did
lad.
too at the time.
And it finishes on that crescendo of the of Darth Maul doing the spinny.
One of the best
stuff.
One of the best lightsaber fights from the series, even still today. It's that Darth Maul against, especially once Qui-Gon is gone and it's just Obi-Wan.
Yeah, that's the best, the very best part.
That's still out of 27 movies. That's still the best. I know it's not 27.
Yeah, we'd not seen like martial arts and stuff like in Star. Like we'd never seen anyone fight like that in Star Wars, right? Like it was all like actual knights, right? And then of course they over fucking did it, and everybody has to fight that like that in the prequels.
It jumped the shark at Geonosis in the second in Attack of the Clones.
Yeah,
when there were 3,000 lightsabers.
Yeah.
Just like, you get a lightsaber, and you get a lightsaber, and you get a lightsaber.
But I remember coming out of it thinking it was great, and then not going back to see it until it came out on VHS. And I lived in halls of residence at the time with Big Buddha, funnily enough.
Yeah, I knew that's where you're going to say.
And we were coming to the end of the year, and we had ran out of money. Like we were struggling to eat, and we went halves on the video, and took the video back to my halls of residence and watched it. And I remember sitting there thinking, "This is shit." Like once it had all subsided, and I was watching it on a small screen. There was a TV, like a little uni TV, it was about a video recorder in it. And I was like, fucking hell, how could I have thought this was good? And then I did it again with both of the following films I didn't do it with. I was disappointed with. But then I did it again with The Last Jedi. And then I did it again with
Rise of Skywalker?
No, definitely not that one. The spin-off. What was the spin-off one called?
Oh, Rogue One?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like that one.
No, I thought I did, and then I went back and
I'm convinced
this is boring and really badly written.
I'm convinced that everybody who says they liked Rogue One is lying to themselves.
It's because of the last bit with Vader. That last bit with Vader is great, where he's killing
now. But imagine if that last bit with Vader is the first time you saw Vader.
Yeah, then it doesn't work.
No, it's that the end is brilliant.
You think? Yeah, I suppose it would be. Yeah.
Oh, it would have been amazing if the first time you see Vader is at the end, where you're like, oh my god, this is the beginning of A New Hope.
Yeah,
putting him in the middle of the movie, where he's on Mustafar, that almost ruins it.
Sorry, you mean if that was the first time you saw Vader in the film? I thought you meant like in the whole franchise. I get what you're saying.
No. Like if the first time in Rogue One that you saw Vader was that
just
end
that
bit.
Yeah, that'd be
I
because I suppose
mean,
he has that.
It almost ruins the
aspirations bit.
It ruins the moment.
Yeah.
By seeing him in the middle. I don't know. I think
when the lightsaber comes on in the dark, you instantly know where it was, right?
Yeah, I think it's that bit, and it's also. I mean, I will admit that the sort of the sequence at the end when when they're kind of doing the heist and they're, all the action on the,
Yeah.
with trying to get the MacGuffin. I can't remember what they're trying to get.
I can't
they're
even
trying to get the
remember that
plans to the
part.
Death Star.
I don't really remember that.
All of that stuff visually was really cool. The problem with that movie is the most memorable character is the droid.
Yeah.
And you don't care about any of the characters.
No, you don't give a shit.
The sound editing was so bad I couldn't understand or hear what half of them were fucking saying anyway.
Yeah. That's a thing nowadays, man. I'm starting to find that more and more. You ever seen Tenet? Couldn't understand a fucking word they were saying in that.
No, I haven't seen that one.
80% of that movie.
I still have no idea anything that Gal Gadot said in Batman vs Superman. No clue. Couldn't understand a fucking thing she said.
But yeah, so I can't be trusted with Star Wars, and then so I've got bitter about the use of nostalgia to fuck with my mind about whether things are good or not.
Yeah, I can see that. I had
It's an abuse of it.
I'm gonna go ahead and warn everybody now that the story I'm about to tell might offend my co-host and several Star Wars fans, but
that's okay, mate. You go.
I got invited a few years ago to go to the British Film Institute in London to see all three of the original trilogy,
right?
All back to back to back. It was basically they did A New Hope, and then they did Empire, and then they did like a lunch break for an hour and a half, and then you came back and watched Jedi.
Are you gonna slag the originals?
There were breaks in between and stuff. But I had not seen.
Was it the originals, or was it?
No, it was the special edition.
Okay.
Because everybody in the auditorium booed at the end when it's Hayden Christensen at the end of Jedi. Really? Everybody, we're in the BFI.
Did you have the Vader saying no in it as well?
I don't remember.
Right, because there's at the end of this is how much he fucks with his own stuff, right? At the end of the prequels, Vader goes no. Well, Lucas took that no and put it into Return of the Jedi.
Oh,
where he picks up the Emperor.
No, I've never noticed that.
He picks up and throws it.
Never noticed that.
Awful.
Anyway, I hadn't seen A New Hope in probably 15 or 20 years.
I know what you're gonna say.
And me and a friend of mine that were with me, it's like a quarter of the way through the movie, and we looked at each other and we're like, did they switch the movie on us?
Right.
Like, was Luke always a whiny bitch? Why did we love this movie?
When
still a great movie, but
yeah,
it's very silly. My point that I was trying to get is, if you saw, I understand if somebody sees Star Wars for the first time in their 30s, why they think it's stupid.
Yeah,
I saw Star Wars for the first time when I was 5 or 6 or something.
What about
and so I loved it. What's that?
What about Empire?
I still think Empire's the best out of that. Awesome. They could continue making Star Wars movies from now until the end of time, and they won't top Empire.
Yeah,
they'll never make a better Star Wars movie than Empire Strikes Back.
When George Lucas first did the rehashed versions, I went to see the first one with my dad. That must have been in the 90s, right? And I remember thinking the same thing.
95, 96.
Yeah, and I remember thinking the same thing even as a kid. Like, because I hadn't watched it since I was a really little kid, and I think the one I'd only watched Empire and Jedi. Like, I hadn't really watched the original a lot.
Yeah, that's how I've always been. I've always watched Empire and Jedi.
Yeah, you can tell, like,
it's very 70s.
Yeah, Empire saves it. The existence of Empire saves it because you think of it as a whole.
Justin's actually piped it. Episode 4 does not hold up to a critical eye, but I still love it. That's exactly what I am. Like, if you looked at it, if you tried watching episode 4 today for the first time, you would like a comparison. I showed my wife, who's never seen a lot of older movies that are like classics. I showed her The Exorcist.
Oh yeah.
And I remember as a kid, The Exorcist being the scariest damn thing ever. Like, and I grew up in like really fundamentalist Christian churches in Oklahoma, And that movie was like literally demon possessed, right? Like,
yeah.
that was
I don't
the
think it had
worst.
the same effect over here.
Lisa watched it and laughed
Yeah. Well,
through the entire thing.
they re-released it in '98. I think it was '98, and they put it on the cinema. And I went to
Yeah.
see the late night showing, and I'd never
Yeah.
seen it before, and the whole cinema was laughing.
Did-
I mean, I'm not even going to. You know which scene I'm on about, but there's a specific scene with the crucifix.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
everyone was laughing their bollocks off. Different.
You know,
over here,
one of the most famous scenes from that movie was not actually in the original. It was in the special re-release.
Is that the walking
It's
down the
the
stairs?
one where she's walking down the stairs back. It wasn't even in the original cut. It was
Yeah.
it was added for the special edition.
I actually love that film. I think
Katie, I love Blair Witch, and I will. This is a hill I will die on.
I fucking hate that film.
I love the Blair Witch. Now, I haven't seen it in several years, so if I watched it today, I might not like it. But there's so much especially if you were around when that movie first came out.
I was.
There's so much to love about that movie. I know I'm going to say it's the original found footage movie, and I fully realize that there were underground movies before that it was.
Yeah, it's
kind
the
of
one
riffing
though.
on.
Isn't it? It's the one.
But it's the one.
Yeah.
That I just watched it a few years ago, Katie, with Lisa. I showed it to her. I mean, I say a few years ago. It was probably
What
10
did
years
Lisa
ago.
think?
I don't remember. I want to say she liked it, but
laughed.
to me, the way I realized that it's an hour and a half of mostly nothing happening. But the way they so subtly drop the story through, and it all wraps up neatly in the end, and it's done in a way that's presented as a documentary. And
you watching it from a writer's point of view, then?
It's presented as these people, not just writing, but also the marketing. The fact that that movie had been out in the cinema for 3 months before anybody realized it wasn't actually real. Like, people were legitimately thinking that the movie was real. I figured it out when I saw the actress on a chat show and realized, oh, wait, she's supposed to have died in the movie.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't real when I saw that it was a film on the cinema.
Well, yes, obviously, but
I thought,
but it was the first, like, now we see things like Paranormal Activity and we see these found footage movies and everybody's like, oh yeah, but at the time it was so new.
Yeah, it was.
And people bought into, and even if, like, with me, I knew when I went to see it, I knew that it was a movie. I knew it was fake. I knew it wasn't actual found footage.
For sure.
But you still went into it and were able to suspend your disbelief and kind of do that kayfabe thing that we talked about with the Hulk Hogan movie, where you for the hour and a half that you're sitting in that movie, you go ahead and you just let yourself pretend that this is actual found footage. And it was so well done. It was, the final scene of that dude standing in the corner, and that's a callback to the beginning.
Yeah,
that fucked with me, man. I had to watch ice hockey to fall asleep for 3 nights. And no movie scares me, but that movie didn't really scare me. It just disturbed me and creeped me out. And
that's interesting. I took my I was 17 when that came out. I took my girlfriend at the time to go and see it, and she shit herself as well. And I remember walking home with her on the night, and I kept running into corners and standing in corners.
Yeah,
with my head down like that, and she would bollock me.
They did.
It was a massive thing at the time.
Cartoon Network in the United States did they were doing a special Scooby-Doo marathon or something. I don't remember, and it had to have been. That movie came out in probably '99. I want to say. So this had to have been like late '99, early 2000.
Yeah,
that Cartoon Network's doing this like Scooby-Doo marathon, like all day Saturday, nothing but Scooby-Doo for 24 hours or whatever. And to advertise it, they made a clip that had Scooby going into that basement and Shaggy was standing with his nose in the corner. And I was like, oh my God, you're doing a Blair Witch riff for a fucking kids cartoon. This is crazy.
I went to see the sequel of that as well.
That was shit.
It was fucking awful.
Yeah.
That should be on the show.
Yeah, that should be. The other thing they did that was really brilliant with that, and people like, Aria is probably too young to remember things like Blockbuster.
I think he remembers Blockbuster.
I'm sure he does. They put out like they like had this expanded Blair Witch universe.
Really?
Where they had other documentaries that they released straight to home video, and you could go to Blockbuster and rent them, and it was like the real story of the Blair Witch. And so like all of the stuff that they were, all of the stories that they were hearing about like the serial killer and the Blair Witch and all of those like legends that she's finding out about as she's interviewing the locals, they created fake documentaries
about the actual
to build that mythology.
Very clever.
And so I saw those before I ever saw the movie.
Oh,
so you
really?
go,
You watched them first?
Yeah. So you go see those, you watch those, and you're like, so you get a little bit, you know who the Blair Witch, you know that legend, you know, all of which was made up. I mean, or borrowed from sort of local folklore and stuff, and adapted and kind of, you know, it moved about 100 miles from where it actually was.
Yeah.
Arya says, Blockbuster, remind me what that was again, Granddads.
I remember.
Yeah. But yeah, that was I thought that was brilliant what they did with that.
Yeah. I didn't all that stuff that must have passed us by because I
yeah, I can imagine it
in
probably
a little
did.
town of Tamworth in the UK. We didn't get any of that shit.
I was just in Tamworth. Tamworth is not that little.
I mean, it's not now. It was in '98 or whatever.
I don't know if I buy it.
It's fuck all there. Oh, mate, they've built loads of houses there now.
Why not?
Actually, they've closed a lot of stuff. No one wants to hear about Tamworth.
I'm going to do something here. Yeah, no.
Remember the video rental store war?
The video rental store war.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember Hollywood Video von Smoot. I probably went to Hollywood Video more than I did Blockbuster, to be fair.
We only had Blockbuster as a chain of video rentals, and all the others were like just personally owned ones. So Blockbuster,
the ones with the back room.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so Blockbuster almost always won. Just a bigger selection.
Yeah, I think Hollywood Video. I don't think Hollywood Video was everywhere in America. I think that was kind of I mean, maybe it was. I don't know.
I'll tell you what. Do you remember this? Do you remember when you used to go into a video store and it would be split into two, and one side you'd have VHS and the other side you'd have Betamax?
No, because Betamax lasted about 3 weeks in America.
Well, do you want to know something? Betamax was the better quality. They just didn't sell as well because VHS had a bigger audience.
Yeah, it would be interesting.
Right,
hey, Green Fox is in the chat.
I'll take you out, Fox. We'll have to go down there. There's fuck all there, but there's a few bars there. Can have a drink.
Yeah, we've all been out in Litchfield.
Yeah. For my birthday.
For your birthday.
Can't talk about that. That was a good time.
That was. There are pictures.
Yeah, there are pictures. Yeah,
that we've put up on Twitter before of that night. Yeah.
Yeah. So of course, yeah, because Betamax was British, right?
Was it?
But yeah, man. Yeah, Betamax was British and VHS.
That's probably why we didn't want it.
Yeah, that's why you spanked us. But
I'm pretty sure that that makes sense because I think that's what the Revolutionary War was about, wasn't it? Was didn't we?
You guys
attacked us at Boston on Boston Common, throwing Betamaxes at us, and we fired back a bunch of VHSs, and then the war
which
started.
Were not as good quality, which is why you could afford to.
But we had a lot of them.
Yeah. But what happened was you go into the video stores
and we won.
Yeah, all right, mate. But you're fucking here, aren't you?
Yeah, that's true. I can talk all the shit I want, but I live here.
So it'd be split down the middle, and then as the months and years went by, our selection got smaller and smaller and smaller, and the VHSs got bigger and bigger and bigger until eventually my dad had to give in and go and buy a VHS machine.
And then just in time for half the store to be VHS and the other half to be DVD.
Yeah, pretty much.
I do remember that. I do remember when
it was the same.
It would be split, and then slowly over time, the VHSs kind of went away, and everything was DVD.
It got to the point where like it was just the same. We had to rent the same films every time we went. I'm sure like it was just like Fire and Ice once a month. Just watch
Dude,
Fire and Ice.
when I was 20, I think I lived in Korea for a year on a military base, and we beat your laser disc asses with DVD. We had this really small. It was basically like one wall of like a convenience store that was our movie selection. And yeah, I watched some shit movies because you're stuck in Korea, and I was down south in like this really small like village of just rice paddies and bars, and so you either went out and got drunk, or you watched movies, or you sat and watched movies and got drunk.
Yeah.
Or you played D&D, which is what I did a lot. But man, we watched some bad movies, but you watched them because that was what was there. You're like, well, I've seen all the new releases. Let me check out this, this Shakespeare movie with fucking Keanu Reeves.
I watched Dracula with Keanu Reeves the other week.
Is he did a Dracula movie?
He's in Dracula with Gary Oldman.
Oh, he is. He plays Jonathan Harker, doesn't he?
Yeah. His accent is fucking awful, but that's not a bad film if you can somehow.
I love that. That's probably one of my favorite adaptations of Dracula, and obviously,
it's great.
Obviously, I'm a bit of a Dracula fan, but that is, other than the Hammer versions, I think that Bram Stoker's Dracula by Francis Ford Coppola is one of my favorite adaptations. It's so good. It's so over the top and gothic and cheesy, and I love it.
Nick Cage is playing Dracula next.
No, he's playing Renfield.
Oh, is he playing? No, he's playing Dracula in Renfield.
No, he's playing Renfield. Everyone keeps getting that wrong on social media. They all keep going, oh, he's going to be a shit Dracula. Well, that's probably why they cast him as Renfield.
Well, he would be a fucking amazing Dracula. And yeah, Green Fox, I used to fucking piss money away on fines at Blockbuster because I'd never returned the video. Oh, right. That's even more interesting.
Yeah, I am 99% sure.
Have a look. No, it says Nicolas Cage to star as Dracula in Universal monster movie Renfield. The movie's called Renfield.
I read that wrong. The movie is Renfield. He's playing Dracula. Okay.
And he'll make a fucking great Dracula.
My mistake. Yeah, I mean, I think he'd be great as either one.
Yeah.
Don't you dare tell me you didn't like Dracula.
No,
Arya, are you talking about the Coppola Dracula?
Yeah, we don't just mean Dracula as a man.
Yeah, like Dracula as a dude was awesome.
Yeah, nice guy.
Yeah. Till he made that fucking Veronica movie. Yeah. I loved that movie. I thought it was really good. And I think Nicolas Cage as Dracula would be really cool.
Yeah, so I think Nicolas Cage as anyone would be really cool. Well, I think Nicolas Cage as anyone.
Alpacas.
He's interesting. Alpacas. He's just, I just love what he's like. Jack Nicholson's. I feel the same about him. I can watch him in anything. I'm up and down about Jack.
I'm up and down about Jack Nicholson, but I definitely see the comparison because Jack Nicholson plays Jack Nicholson in everything, and Nicolas Cage pretty much plays Nicolas Cage in everything. I love Nicolas Cage. I think he was fantastic in The Color Out of Space. I think he was. I mean, even going back as far as Raising Arizona, the guy is incredible. He's awesome. I don't know what it is about him.
Yeah, he's awesome. Great. He's got a lot of charisma. Fox, I didn't have Haagen-Dazs until I started dating my now wife, and she made me have it. I never went for the ice cream at Blockbuster. In fact, I never went for any food at Blockbuster because it was always too fucking expensive. I used to go around the corner to the offer and grab some.
I love Haagen-Dazs.
peanut M&Ms. You like what's the other one? There's Haagen-Dazs and the other ice cream. That's the one I always used to have. Come on, Chris. You know which one I'm on about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you do.
I don't.
Ben and Jerry's.
There you go.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
You don't like Ben and Jerry's?
Why? It's more them.
I don't give a shit about them.
It's more them as humans that I don't really care for. I love their peanut butter cup ice cream.
That's what I'm on about.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all right.
I don't care about their politics or whatever.
Ben
I
says
just want to eat their creamy ice creams.
Blockbuster tried to recreate the movie theater experience of overcharging for snacks.
In it, mate.
I wonder why that. I mean, I don't know. Is there some sort of economic? There must be,
because they figure you're there. Like it's all on what's convenient. People do stuff on convenience. Like if you're already there, you're more likely to buy it, right?
Sure. Impulse buy.
Yeah, like
you have really struggled with the word impulse.
I struggle with all words, Mike, because I've got
but that's twice
ADHD.
tonight. That's twice tonight that you've struggled with the word impulse.
Sorry.
I don't really care.
They do it with consoles, right? So then they're slowly bringing in consoles without the disc slot.
Yeah,
making all the games digital, right? But the digital games are almost always higher priced than the physical ones. It's because while you're sitting on your fat ass in your living room and you want to play a game, what are you going to do? Get in the car and drive all the way down to Tesco rather to pick it up, or are you going to just press a button? That's what you're going to do.
Yeah, I can see that. But I also see that as kind of consumer convenience. That's something that consumers wanted. Like the move away from physical media. If Bristolian Dave is still in the chat, you're going to want to plug your ears for this part of the conversation. The move away from physical media is
inevitable.
It's inevitable. Two, it's desirable for most people, because if you look behind me on this shelf, like I'm running out of shelf space for books, right? And so my Kindle is a lifesaver because I can have an entire library and I don't have to have that stack right there is to read. That's a pile of books I need to read. And so is that.
Yeah.
Because buying books and reading books are obviously two completely separate hobbies. But so the move away from physical media, it's desirable because of space. It saves space on storage and that kind of stuff. And so consumers in video games ask consoles to make things downloadable.
Yeah, I know it's down to the consumer, but I don't know, man. I just get worried about. I mean, I won't even be around for it, but I just wonder where it'll end. Like the disappearance of all sort of physical anything. Eventually, it'll just be big fat things with like computers in our heads. You won't need a PC or a room to have it in. You'll just see everything in your head. I'll be able to talk to you through mind control and all that shit. What's the point of being alive? Let's just kill ourselves now, is what I'm saying. Shut up, Green Fox.
Katie, I love physical books as well. That's why I have a huge bookshelf behind me that's full of books. But it's unsustainable. I can't.
I only read one book every 2 years, so
I can't keep buying books.
Pig is good, Katie. We did enjoy that film.
I haven't seen Pig.
It's an interesting movie, mate. Everyone thinks it's an action movie about Nicolas Cage trying to avenge his pig. It's not.
that would actually be kind of funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that movie. Hey, Ben, if you're still on the chat room, check your Twitter DMs. Yeah, is Pig one of the movies that he did that's on Shudder?
Quite possibly.
I know
it's not a horror.
Oh, then it won't be on Shudder.
Yeah,
most likely.
It's an art house film.
Okay.
But it's good. Although he did another one recently, which looked. Do you remember I showed you the trailer? It looked absolutely crazy.
looks amazing. I can't remember what the name of it is, but it's that like kung fu action thing.
Yeah, Kung Fu Mad Max Samurais.
Yeah, yeah, that's a perfect way to explain it. Kung Fu Mad Max Samurais.
Oh, I'm going. Was it? It was Prisoners of Ghostland.
That we need to see that.
Yeah, we do. I've heard good
Definitely need to
things.
see it.
I've heard really good things about it.
Yeah, that's that needs to happen. I am I'm going crazy with this Coach Watch thing.
Oh, the football.
Yeah, it's so late in the afternoon in America. It's 3:00 in the afternoon in Norman. Today was supposed to be the day, man. Today's supposed to be the day. I don't know what's gonna happen. Anyway, what are you drawing?
I'm drawing a giant alligator.
That looks pretty
Hank.
cool. That looks pretty cool.
Yeah, you like that?
It's a little trippy.
Your Canadian girlfriend told me to draw it for you.
Yeah. I need to get in touch with her.
Yeah. I figured now would be as good a time as any to get on it, right?
Yeah. That looks really good.
Cheers, dude.
I like.
What do you reckon? Some voodoo paraphernalia around him? Or is that
could
overkill?
do. Or yeah, I don't know. Do you go the voodoo route or do you go the country singer route?
I never even thought about that. Go on.
Well, because that's the background of the character, right? He's a alcoholic country singer that.
No, I mean, what would you put on him?
I don't know, because
Okay,
a cowboy hat
We
would look
could
kind
do
of
a
dumb.
mix of. There's no reason why we can't do a mix of cultures there, right?
Yeah, but I was thinking a cowboy hat would look kind of dumb.
Yeah, cowboy hat might look dumb, but you can.
But I don't know how else you would do the country singer thing.
I mean, a cowboy hat would just cover his eyes because he's got a flat head.
Aria wants to know why you're drawing a giant alligator.
None of your fucking business, Aria. That's why. I'm only joking, mate. I'm just working on some characters that me and Chris have been talking about for a while.
Yeah.
For heavy hitters. Hey, Pops. How you doing, mate? Make him look like Joe Exotic. Oh, dude, that
Actually, I mean, I hadn't.
it's all in the execution, Chris.
It is all in the execution. I hadn't imagined Hank as a flamboyant gay man from Oklahoma, but
Oh, Ari, don't unsub. You're part of this channel. I was only joking. Me and Chris
he needs a leather vest with badges. Katie says.
A leather vest wouldn't be. The thing is, oh no, it doesn't matter. I always root myself in actual reality, and then I have to remind myself what I'm drawing.
I mean, as you know, from the two of us talking about heavy hitters over the last year or so, I do that a lot with the story where I have to remember I'm writing a story about a giant alligator and a robot and a gorilla, or you know what I mean? Like I have to remember, like, no, I don't have to root this story in reality because there's nothing realistic about this.
Yeah, because I was just thinking, oh, he can't have a vest on because who's going to make him a giant vest? But it doesn't matter. Like, none of that matters.
Yeah, none of that matters. This is all it's all very like, would this have worked in an 80s cartoon? That's what you should ask yourself.
Yeah, that's exactly the right way to look at it, nice one, Chris. Yeah.
Because that's after one of our conversations last summer when I came to your house. That was one of the things I took away was like, okay, I just need to, when I'm sitting here trying to write this stuff, I need to just always go back to, would this story work in an episode of Transformers or Masters of the Universe? Would this work?
I'm going to write that down because that'll help me.
Would this work in an 80s cartoon?
Yeah. Would this work Sure, I'm gonna put that
Green
in the
Fox and
folder.
Katie are over here completely revamping.
Pet Tiger.
They're completely revamping the entire book.
Denim shorts.
I think those are called jorts.
I can't give him. He hasn't got the legs for denim shorts. I can't because
I would like to announce to the chat. I got a message from Justin.
Is he pissed now? Is he admitting to being pissed now?
He says, "You can tell the group I have accepted the Epcot drinking challenge for America."
Nice one, Justin. I'll look forward to seeing that, mate.
Yeah. So
You do live your life in an 80s cartoon, especially on Saturday mornings, Ben.
Yeah.
Incidentally, we're doing Ghostbusters next Saturday.
I wanted to see the new movie before we did this chill stream. Maybe I'll see it before next week because Justin's still gone next week. So we'll probably
Well, if you
do
see it, you like to see it before Saturday, no?
What's that?
You're not likely to see it before Saturday, then, no?
Probably not. And I think I'm busy Saturday anyway, so I don't think I
All
can
right,
make
mate.
it.
I wasn't inviting you anyway.
But I wanted to see it because I know you texted me about it.
Yeah, I'm really intrigued to know what you thought.
I know Buddha liked it.
Yeah, but
Are we going to talk shit on?
I can't slag him off on air, can I?
I was going to say, are we going to talk shit about Buddha now?
Totally slag him off. If you're watching Buddha, that means I'm your friend.
Till the cameras go off.
He's a massive Ghostbusters fan, and we haven't had a chance to discuss it yet.
So is he like you with Star Wars? He can't be trusted?
Well, look, always enter a conversation assuming that someone else knows something that you don't, right? You're right, I should troll Buddha, shouldn't I? Facts. Fuck him. He's talking out of his ass. He doesn't know what a good film from his fucking arsehole. I think he's totally blinded by nostalgia. And I invite him to come on this show and fight me. But yeah, like I some people got annoyed that that I didn't like it.
Really?
I thought it was a nice love letter to
I guess
Ghostbusters, sort of, but I just felt like, I don't know, man. It was just,
I like to gauge movies before I see them. I like to gauge what I think they're going to be based off of the extreme reactions, right? So like when I went on your other show about the Masters of the Universe cartoon and I told you guys I knew that it was going to be just kind of okay because one side was calling it the greatest thing ever and the other side was calling it a piece of shit. So I knew that the truth was going to be somewhere in the middle.
Have we seen the second part is out now? Yeah,
I haven't seen it yet.
Well, do you want to watch it and then we'll get on a show and discuss it then? Because I will watch it.
Yeah, I can watch it. Maybe we can do it for next week. But my judgment of Ghostbusters based off of everybody else's reviews and then yours, is that it's probably a big member berry, and but that it's probably done okay. It's probably done well.
So I think it's a member berry propping up. Now, I look right. Everyone is free to make their own subjective opinions, and I'll talk to you about it till the end of the day, right? Without falling out with you, because I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I'm making no money off of Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I don't care. In fact, I really enjoy having the conversations. Like it's a good laugh. But in my opinion, it's a member berry that's used to prop up a very sparsely writ film that isn't even a fraction as good as the first one. It's got. I like some of the actors in it. Like I think Paul Rudd's charming. Like I always think he's charming.
I always like Paul Rudd.
Yeah, I like him in it. I like the main girl in it, and I like the mum in it, and that's about it really. Like some of the other kids, I just didn't see the point in them. It doesn't bring anything new to the table on any level, as far as I'm concerned. if you, it's so odd as well. It's like this. We're talking about Stranger Things before. It's like Ghostbusters, and then Stranger Things, and then the new Ghostbusters is more like Stranger Things than it is Ghostbusters, and it just doesn't. It didn't feel like Ghostbusters to me. It felt like something else with Ghostbusters stuff in. I don't know, man. I could see why people will go there and go, oh, that made me feel warm or whatever, because it's got this Ghostbusters memorabilia on the screen. But just go fucking watch Ghostbusters. Like, I just wanted to watch Ghostbusters, and I will never watch that film again. This new one. Yeah, I don't hate it, but I'll never see it again.
That's fair.
Ghostbusters, I could watch that a couple of times a year, and like,
Sure.
it's a great movie. And that's not because of nostalgia. I mean, part of it is, but I remember going back and watching Ghostbusters as an adult and being surprised that how good a film, how adult it was in comparison to my memories. I was like, oh god, there's some shit in here that totally went over my head when I was a kid.
Yeah, I found that about Home Alone.
Oh really? See, I've never gone back and watched that one.
We watch it. Oh, we watch it every year. It's one of my wife's favorite Christmas movies, and my kids love it. And
yeah.
You start to notice things as an adult that you're like, so you know the scene when he goes down the stairs on the sled?
Yeah.
The door doesn't line up.
Oh, right.
When he's at the top of the stairs, it's like the stairs are here and the door is here. And then he comes down and somehow he goes out the door.
Turns.
Yeah. But like as a kid, you just let it go, and you're like, oh, that's really cool. I'd love to slide down the stairs and go
that's all you think
out the door. And then as an adult, you look at it and go like, he'd run into that fucking wall.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
We
watched the new Home Alone this past week.
Oh, I'll tell you what then. I will do that one, and we can have a chat about that one, because it's bad, isn't it?
It's terrible.
Yeah,
it's terrible. My daughter loved it. She's 6, but my wife and I were both like, "This is just watch it. Watch it this week. We're gonna have another chill stream like this next week, and we'll talk about it. But it's not good, man.
So there's this thing about like, and I like this. It would kind of.
You need to watch Wheel of Time as well.
Yeah, I'll give that one a crack. I've heard good things.
I've seen the first 2 episodes, and so far it's fine. Justin has seen them all, and he's all up in his feels about it because he read the books. But
I'd never even heard of it.
No, oh man, the books are hugely famous. Like some of the, among the best fantasy novels probably of the last 30 or 40 years. But
wow,
I've always found them
nothing if not completely out of touch with literature. So
well, they're from the 90s, so you're like really out of touch. But I've always found them to be very intimidating because like the shortest one is 800 pages. Yeah, so I've just never and it's like 14 novels or something in the series. So I've always just been like, that's quite a life commitment to start that series. So I never read it, but I'd always heard really good things. And then when the series came out, I thought, oh, cool, now I don't have to read it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the first 2 episodes are pretty good, and then Justin and apparently most people who read, I'm sure Ben has read Wheel of Time, and he might have different feelings about the series than you and I would, having not read it.
Ben's quite selective about the things that he watches on the TV, man. I have to.
Have you ever had a situation where you say someone's name and they appear?
Hey!
Whoa!
You gotta say.
This is like some kind of weird Matrix crossover where the 2 Max Headroom channel shows are colliding.
You gotta say Beetlejuice 3 times.
Say Rokon Fiction 3 times and he appears. What's up, Ben?
I'm good. So with respect to that crocodile cartoon character, the anthropomorphic alligator that you're making, are you familiar with Leatherhead, the character from Ninja Turtles?
Yep.
I am not.
Does it sounds like take a peek at that, Max? It sounds like similar
Leatherhead.
Similar design.
Let's see.
So yeah, that Ghostbusters
Ah.
movie doesn't look interesting to me, to be honest.
I wonder if
It's like the
and I'm
wrong
gonna
flavor. My hair's messy.
gonna share my screen.
Back in sets, going for
My hair's still messy.
a piss.
Yeah, I brought that up to show him, and now he's gone. Yeah, I see what you mean by that.
Life
That's
with
not
ADD.
that was not the original intent of the character design, but I see what you mean.
So you can use that to either be inspired by it or as a reference point of what not to do, like do something
Yeah,
different.
yeah. There's a bit darker version from the comics. That would probably be more of what we would go for, I think.
Oh, I used to have that action figure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never had a lot of the Ninja Turtle. I had cousins that had them. I was pretty poor as a kid, couldn't afford a lot of toys, but I had cousins that had a lot of the. I had one cousin that had the pizza van that shot the pizzas out of the top. Had the little. You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I remember that one. So, yeah.
Excuse me.
Take a look at.
Here's Leatherhead.
He has got a hat on.
And then there's a darker version of him from the comics. Oh,
I think I like that one better.
yeah. I was hoping that would be a bigger picture. Yeah, that's
Look
what I
at-
was telling Ben, is that this one would probably be the better. That would probably be the better one.
Yeah, I need to move away from him then. I need to do. You want it different, don't you?
When Katie mentioned the vest, she's probably subconsciously remembering this character.
Well, when you brought that up, I wondered if I was subconsciously remembering this character when I thought up the idea.
It's all from somewhere.
Yeah.
It's all in the execution.
But to be fair, I had the idea originated, or his backstory anyway, originated because I had been watching the Ken Burns documentary series on country music, and I watched the Hank Williams episode, and I thought, oh, how cool would that be to base a giant kaiju alligator on Hank Williams? And so I did. That's where it came from.
Pretty good. Yeah, man. I want you both to watch Ghostbusters.
Did you see?
I will
Just
eventually
so I can get
to it.
I man, I'm gonna be honest with you. I started watching it yesterday, and I turned it. I turned it off. Like,
would you get like a pirate version?
I did. Like, I can tell.
Ben is one of those writers who's written more books than he's read.
No, I'm one of
never gonna die.
I'm one of those YouTubers that's hosted more podcasts than he's listened to. That's what I am.
That's funny.
Where did you get to, mate?
Like 5 minutes. Like, I don't know. It can just tell it's not the right flavor. Like,
yeah, it's definitely not the right flavor. Yeah.
The thing that I liked about the original Ghostbusters is like the sardonic humor, you know, and like guys messing with stuff and being cool and having fun.
You're supposed to be blue collar guys doing this.
Well, it's basically like Super Troopers, but family friendly, you know.
Yeah.
And that movie was just a totally different flavor. It was just another one of them. I don't like stuff, and then everything's awesome for the kid movies, and that's a really tired cliche, and I don't need to see it again. And the Stranger Things kid just annoys me.
Yeah.
So
it's the main kid, right, from Stranger Things that's in there.
Yeah, he has nothing to do really in the film. In the whole of the film,
okay.
I don't understand why he's there.
I got the feeling that
he was in Stranger Things.
I got the feeling that the whole thing was going to center around that kid. I guess I was wrong.
Nah, it's the little girl with the glasses.
Oh, all right.
That it centers around. She's actually not bad. Like she's good in it.
I'm
But
still not
it-
gonna watch it. I'm gonna
that-
focus on
the-
the cartoon for Saturday.
Yeah.
The cartoon
Some
looks,
good episodes of that, man.
yeah, the cartoon looks.
I
proper
remember
dope.
the cartoon when I was a kid.
Mate, like that's another one. If you go back and watch some of them episodes, there's a Cthulhu episode, and I remember like
And I think they
vaguely-
spell it differently or something.
yeah, but it's the same. Like
Yeah.
there's a group of monks trying to
It
bring him
wasn't-
back, and he
It
comes
wasn't
out
in
the
public
sea and-
domain at the time.
Yeah.
Same thing with same thing with Metallica. When they did the song Call of Cthulhu, they spelled it differently because it wasn't in public domain.
Oh, that's
Right.
hilarious.
Either that or
Yeah.
they just were metalheads that were smoking weed and didn't know how to spell Cthulhu.
Cthulhu is a
Yes.
K.
Some of the old Ghostbusters episodes are pretty cool, man. Even by
Which
today's
ones?
standards.
Which one should I watch?
Definitely watch the Cthulhu one.
The Cthulhu.
The Cthulhu. There's one where they go to a town full of vampires and werewolves.
I like that.
And as far as they know, it's just a group. They go to a town, and all the town members are in jail, and everybody outside of jail is a vampire. So they release the people in the jail. Then they find out after they've released them that they're all werewolves, and there's like this power struggle going on in the town, and then they have to leave because there's just a giant fight between vampires and werewolves, and obviously they can't catch them because they're not ghosts.
Right. They're powerless against.
Yeah, so they just leave them.
This isn't our purview, all right?
Yeah.
You want to call Vampire Busters?
We can only bust one monster at a time.
But yeah, man, I never remember the titles. There's another one as well where they each get possessed by a body part of a different demon. So one of them is possessed by the eye, and he grows an eye on his chest. One of them grows a mouth on him, and they don't know why it's happening. And it's a bit like The Fly. Like every day they wake up and they've got like a new wound, and it's starting to turn into a different appendage. Remember that freaking me out as a kid.
That sounds super mature for kids. Dude.
Yeah.
Listen, I recently went back and started watching some of the Batman the Animated Series stuff, and then I watched the documentary that Warner Brothers and DC did on it. And man, I forgot how dark and adult that show was.
Yeah.
And that was a kid's cartoon, man. And they were
Probably the best of all time. The best kids cartoon ever, the Batman series.
Batman the Animated Series. Yeah, and I think probably the best depiction of Batman as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
Maybe in any media,
Uh-huh.
including comics, it might still be the best depiction of Batman. And Kevin Conroy is the voice I hear when I read a Batman comic.
Ooh.
That looks pretty.
Yeah, I like that.
A little bit left, and then
Blue,
on to the next one.
orange, pink.
Red.
The mood of each panel is reflected by the paint. You're doing that thing that Preston told you to do with the splattering the whole thing with the color.
Yeah, I always do that now. So it's like an underpainting.
What's the technique called?
Underpainting.
Underpainting. Cool.
You
Now
just
I know.
cover it, and then it picks up like some of the vibrance of the color. It works so well.
Yeah. It really works for comic books too, because like that way you can show like the mood contrast and on the same page. like,
Yeah, it makes
Here-
the painting about 10 times faster too.
right. This color means this, and that color means that. Something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, it's really good.
Got a second?
What's up, Chris?
I thought I was just typing something real quick. There was a lull in the conversation, but I was typing.
I don't want to take over your show, man.
That's all right. I think we're probably going to wrap up here in a few minutes.
Okay.
We've
Yeah,
been
just
going.
about
We've been
done.
going for almost 2 hours. So
It's good to see you two in the same room.
yeah, we've done
Yeah,
this
it's been a while.
once
Now
or twice
kiss.
before. Yeah. It's the time zones mess us up.
Yeah.
we were gonna do the Halloween thing for the show, and that
Yeah,
didn't happen. And then
Well, we just didn't. It snuck up on us.
Well, we had it planned for a while. We ended up not doing it because it was timing here. Like we couldn't. We had the three of us over here had a bunch of stuff going on, and we couldn't find like a 2-hour period where all three of us were together, not on a Wednesday night to do it. And so and then we just kind of ran out of time. We're like, oh shit, we got like a week until Halloween. So why don't we just push this and we'll do it next year? We're going to keep the idea because I think it was a good one. And then we're going to do it next year.
Yeah, for sure. We'll definitely do it.
And then I always find it hard getting like popping onto you guys' show on Saturdays because I'm doing stuff with my kids in the weekend and stuff. So,
Oh yeah.
I have 3 young kids, so and Saturdays are the whole weekend is basically family time. So
He's like Dal, Ben.
Yeah, you're gonna have kids soon now too. Then
I'm only gonna have one.
Then
maybe
we'll never
half
see
of one
from
if I'm
you.
lucky. Ah, you will.
who's Dell and how am I like Dell?
Dal's got a bunch of kids as well.
Ah, okay.
He's on the show. He's on Saturday morning cartoons sometimes. He's a
is he? Okay.
military guy as well.
It's really funny. I need a skull. Chris got a black skull.
I
and
made
you got
that.
a white skull.
That's
Oh yeah,
Bob.
you killed one of your friends.
That's Bob. Yeah, I made that in a ceramic shop on a military base when I had nothing to do with my free time, and so
And
it's
who was
traveled.
Bob? Who was Bob when he was still alive?
Have you read the Dresden Files books?
No.
Okay, that's where the Bob reference comes from. Bob is in the Dresden Files. Dresden, because he's a wizard, he can't use electronic equipment, so he can't like Google things. And Bob is the disembodied spirit of an ancient wizard that's trapped in a skull, and so this skull like floats around, and he's kind of like the comic relief. He's a dirty old man. He always wants to get released so he can go run around in some sorority house or something. And I love the book series. So when I made the skull, I just called the skull Bob, and it's traveled around the world with me now for about 12 years. So
My skull was a gift from Green Fox.
you probably use yours for constructive artistic purposes, though.
I do actually. I draw this fucker all the time. I didn't realize how often I draw skulls. Needless to say, there's a lot of skulls in Roken now. But it's cool, man.
Mine is just a decorative piece.
Really fucking useful.
Somehow it survived several moves across several oceans. And
Well, you got to look
well,
after his skull, ain't you?
has never broken. So
But you said that it floats and speaks on its own, right? So it just
not
kinda
this
floated.
one. This one doesn't.
Oh,
That was fake. Do you know how novels work?
so that's just a make pretend.
So you were lying to me?
So that's not Bob from.
That's
the
not
book.
actual Bob. No,
I
that's
see.
yeah. And that
I
next to him
understand.
is not an actual drop pod.
It is.
I mean, it is an actual drop pod because drop pods aren't real, but
It is.
What is
Yes.
that from? Is that from? What do you call it? What's that called? The
Warhammer.
Hunger Games
It's from Warhammer.
from Warhammer. All
Yeah.
right.
I got a
Nice.
lot of stuff up there actually. Tons of trinkets and nonsense.
Have you got a man with a church on his back? No.
I do not. I do not. I do have this. This is pretty cool. Hang on.
I like that.
Fuck you.
This
I like that painting a lot. By
Cheers,
the
man,
way,
I did it today.
that's Call Thulu.
Carl Thulu.
it's the Call of Cthulhu.
The Call from Cthulhu.
That is pretty cool, man.
Yeah. I like it.
Imagine you get a ring on your cell phone and you look at it and it's Cthulhu.
It's Cthulhu, yeah. It happens a lot, actually. I have
I'm
several.
gonna let
Cthulhu-
that
Looking around
let
my
let
office
that
now, I
bitch go to voicemail. I'm not
probably
Don't
have
listen to
far
the
too
voicemail
much.
either,
I
mate.
probably have far too much Cthulhu stuff in my office.
throw that phone away.
Mate, I love Lovecraft. I've based
you
my
know,
whole
I mean-
fucking art thesis on him.
Yeah, I did my
And I love
dissertation.
craft.
I did my dissertation on Lovecraft. So,
Cool.
Yeah. Right,
all right,
I'm gonna
gentlemen
call it an evening.
and everybody, thanks for joining us. We'll be back next week. Also,
In
without
fact, said she
Justin.
killed a soy boy to get that skull.
That's all.
Well, I
Well
want
done.
the skull of a real man.
Well done.
Fuck, so get me another one. Sorry. carry on.
You guys want to pimp Rokon before we go?
You wanna
Yeah.
put Roke on, Ben?
Yeah, he's got really nice boobs. He'll do anything you want. Half price on Thursdays. So part fantasy, part superhero, all metal, man. Imagine the coolest sci-fi fantasy novel settings, Lord of the Rings, A Song of Ice and Fire, Elric of Melon Bonabe, all that stuff. But now imagine superheroes with big muscles fighting each other, over the top violence, Max Headroom, the psychedelic art style. Put all that together in the best written comic book of the 21st century, and that's Rokon on demand on Indiegogo. So check that out.
Awesome.
That's the best pitch.
That's
so
the
far, I
best pitch that we've had.
I'm
on
getting
this
better
show.
at it. I'm getting better at
Uh, Max normally just says, "Oh, it's sword and sandals, and it's really good. And if you don't like it, fuck you."
it.
That's his normal weekly pitch for the book.
So I'll pitch.
Have you
everything.
ever
I
heard
sold myself to
of
my wife.
Frank Frazetta?
You ever heard of Frank Frazetta?
Yeah, it's
Well,
kind of
you
like
haven't.
that.
Fuck
Yeah.
you.
Cool. Then Max and I will be back next week for another chill stream. We might have Ben or somebody else pop in if we can, or if we get a chance. And otherwise, we're just gonna talk nonsense. Hopefully by then, my team will have a coach, and I won't be flipping back and forth to Twitter and message boards trying to keep up with football news. So yeah, any parting shots, gentlemen?
Nah.
Well,
Saturday, tune in Saturday, 10 a.m.
Oh yeah.
Eastern
that's the
time,
thing. Oh yeah, we have another show on this channel, don't we?
3 p.m.
fucking
UK time, Saturday morning cartoons.
Ghostbusters this week.
A fun show.
Oh.
Fantastic. Well,
Got
as
shit to
always,
say.
we'll end with the John Waters quote: "Get more out of life. See a fucked up movie." Later, everybody.
Toodly pipsky.